Hi there, welcome to the Veach Cave mystery. Today I want to present to you another interesting article which refers to the case. I want to do an analysis to see if there's any new information, any different points of views which have never been talked about before, different theories, or if it's bad, check for misinformation, any inconsistencies, just like what I've done in the past. I'm going to present it to you today, a different article. I don't think I've covered it before, and if I have, for whatever reason, apologies in advance, but there's no harm in going over stuff just in case it's been forgotten about. For those that are currently here watching, appreciate it. Welcome to the live premiere. Be sure to share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. If you want to catch up on the latest videos, maybe you missed out on one, top right corner of the screen where that white eye symbol is, click on that drop down box to other videos to catch up on. If you want to leave comments in general or have questions, whether you're watching right now or you're catching up later, be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts of this article and your thoughts of the case in general about Kenny Veach, and I can always respond back to them at a future point. In addition to today, I can also respond back to comments from the last video that I did cover and clear up some confusion as well, and also respond back to Jeff Clark regarding some strange individuals leaving comments. It should all be cleared up today and it should be under control. Down below though, pinned comment by me, if you check that out, there's some additional links if you want to check them. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, there are methods available right there. So with that all being said and done, big shout out to Cleo in recent time for her support on the channel. Shout out to, I think, Jim Coddington, maybe Badger as well, and a few other people too, okay, for their support on this channel in recent time, and some others as well. So with that all being said and done, let's get straight into this video and begin reading this article. What I will do is put it in reader mode so it's easier for you to see, listen in, read along, whatever you want to do. And then I'll deselect it afterwards because there was some images which were kind of interesting, but can't seem to, have both at the same time. I did try doing it without reader mode, but it changes the aspect ratio and you can't see as much text on the screen. So that's why I'm doing the dark mode first and then revert back to the standard website. Okay? The title of this article from the website reads The Mysterious M Cave and the Strange Disappearance of Kenny Veach. And just below it, a little subtitle, Sheep Mountains, Las Vegas. Desert Disappearance, Nevada, M Cave, Area 51, UFO sightings. A range of key words, in a sense, kind of summarising the Kenny Veach case, or at least part of it. For it though to say Area 51, okay, we've heard that all before. Lots of media outlets like to use Area 51 in their titles when talking about Kenny Veach because it always catches the reader's attention. So there is a form of manipulation there. But besides that, UFO sightings, how often have we seen that within the Kenny Veach articles? Okay, they talk about aliens, but what about specific sightings? Are they going to mention any examples, I wonder? Because we've seen some examples, kind of like Ewu crew, when they were out there in the dark and captured some flying object going over a military base, which was very, very strange and also coincidental too. But we'll just keep on reading and see what's mentioned. What I did notice though, this website, it had 25 trackers. How desperate are these people on this website? Now, the 25 trackers have been blocked, but still, attempts were made. We got Kenny Veach there, but the source of that video is from Sharon Pilgrim's channel on YouTube, I believe, before Kenny went missing in the past. Kenny Lee Veach disappeared November 10th, 2014, Sheep Mountains near Las Vegas, Nevada. Said they're mentioning his full name. That's the first. Don't often hear it. Now, Kenny is short for Kenneth, in case you were wondering there. November 10th, yep, that checks out correctly on the date. He headed out there supposedly to the desert. Sheep Mountains, Sheep Range, Jomay Canyon, key named we've already heard before. This says revised December 2023. So have things been added towards the end of 2023? From the looks of it, yeah. Interesting. Well, let's read. Does it mention any of my research or others? So, on November 10th, 2014, Kenny Lee Veach set out to rediscover a strange cave called the M Cave, as it was in the shape of a capital M that he had found on a desert hike a few months beforehand. The cave was in Sheep Mountains, 40 miles north of Las Vegas and south of the infamous Area 51 military base. Okay, I think that mainly checks out. Now, when they say 40 miles north of Las Vegas, they're not literally saying that the cave is 40 miles north of Las Vegas. I think they're just saying the Sheep Mountain Range itself, the hiking area. As for the cave, there's no true coordinates given because the true M cave really hasn't been found yet. Let's just put it that way. Moving on. Despite warnings from a poster on an online forum, that's kind of wrong, that, not to return to locate the cave, he headed out on his third trip to try and find a mysterious place. On his first encounter with the cave, he reported on online forums using the tag Snakebitmgee that his body had experienced weird sensations the closer I got to the cave entrance. The worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared, hightailed out of there. This was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. That's in quotes of Kenny's original comment online from YouTube, which is no longer available because the whole comment thread and the first initial comment by Kenny was deleted. Never been explained, still remains a mystery. But I just want to go back over the first part when they say that a poster on an online forum warned him not to return. That's in reference to Lemmy Kilmister. Okay, it was a default profile with a capital L as their profile picture, and that was basically it. Did they have any videos on their channel? I don't think they did. I think it was just a default channel. And they just simply left a comment, which was more in a joking way, not taking it too serious. They said to Kenny, don't go back out there. If you do, you won't come back. And obviously, Kenny supposedly didn't come back, which then raised a lot of questions, suspicion, concern for Kenny. And there was an outpour in response to people questioning Lemmy Kilmister for being responsible. But I believe it was just a prank gone wrong. A bad comment, poor taste, bad timing. It backfired. So the person ended up deleting their channel, deleting their account, and laying low because, you know, you'd be questioned for the rest of your life for as long as that case goes on for. So I understand. I guess the person regrets it now. But we're not talking about like an online forum. An online forum tends to be a website where people post threads, comment chains, comment sections. It's not like a full-on media platform. Now, this is all in reference to YouTube, but the way it's worded here, they're making it sound like it's on an online forum website, like 4chan, like 8chan, like GLP, like, what was it, AR15, those type of forums pages. Now, YouTube is different. YouTube has a comment section, but it also has videos, and it also has many different users out there who have their own channels on that one platform. It's more of a social media platform than it is an online forum. So they got that wrong here, just wanted to clear that up. And they didn't mention the actual name of the original commenter warning Kenny. But where it says online forums using the tag Snakebitmgee, that's in reference to Kenny Veach, his channel on YouTube. Kenny's channel on YouTube known as Snakebitmgee. He didn't use it as a tag. He didn't use it on an online forum. He used it on YouTube, which was a platform of being kind of like a content creator. But Kenny was never a true content creator in that sense. He supposedly not a part of the YouTube partner program, but maybe in time he may have decided to. You never know. Moving on. On the final trip to Sheep Mountains in November 2014 to search for the M Cave, he vanished, Kenny did. Despite many searches by authorities and amateur explorers, only his cell phone was ever located near a mine entrance that was not in the shape of an M. Okay, that's a different way of wording it, saying that the mine is not in the shape of an M. I wonder if this revised website has been done because it's noticed videos calling it Kenny Veach Mineshaft or M Cave Mineshaft. The reason why those terms coined used in that sense, because it's in reference to the case or Kenny Veach who was once there, and the possibilities that the mine shaft could be the beginning to reaching the M cave if it was like a secret tunnel entrance. And that's what long-standing investigators and hikers have used that term in the area. So we just follow on with that tradition because it's easier to refer to. I don't know if it takes in consideration here, this article, but I just thought it was interesting timing. So yeah, they're saying on the final trip to Sheep Mountains, okay, Little Joe May Canyon, Kenny Veach, 10th of November, right? He's supposedly going out there. Kenny's scent later been found out there, leading up to the mine shaft where the phone was found, but the scent ended at that point. Is it because it weared out over time? Maybe. Or is it because Kenny turned back and went the way he originally came? Quite possibly. It wasn't just his phone that was seen and found near the mine shaft. Loose change, coins were found as well. So it looks like Kenny purposely emptied his pockets, some say, so he wouldn't get tracked as to where his final resting place would be if he was to commit suicide. But what I would say is, if you're going to head out there, you're going to drop your phone and coins near to the mine shaft, you're leaving a mark, okay? You're making a statement. My name's Kenny Veach. These are my possessions. I've left them out there. It proves that I have gone out there in the first place. For the scent to be interpreted as he doubled back the way he came is as if you've gone out there to prove that's your final spot, and then you've turned back the way you came to maybe picked up and taken elsewhere. It's like staging a disappearance. Almost like how some people could stage a break-in, a robbery. Not that that's in relation to the break-in of the Kenny Veach case. I'm just saying things can be staged to make it seem like something did happen when it didn't. Maybe I can do a standalone video on that just to get my point across, okay? Anything else? Just interesting how it says the mine entrance, that was not in a shape of an M. Now, one key correction that needs to be made, it wasn't a mine entrance, it was a mine shaft, okay? What's the difference between a mine and a mine shaft? Well, mine shafts can be vertical and it drops within, okay? So you might have to abseil down into it or use one of those lifts, depending, technology and how old it may be and if it's still in use or not, right? With the Kenny Veach mine shaft, you got to abseil down or use the ladder or use both, kind of like as some people did previously, okay? If you're talking about a mine, that can be on the side of a rock wall. It can almost be like a cave you walk into and you go deeper and deeper and it becomes like a mine, right? And it's on the side, horizontal. Yeah, horizontal. So, it's kind of false information by saying it's just a mine, because people could be enticed into going out there by reading this article and think, well, it's only a mine. It's not like we need any rope to abseil down. And by the time they get there, they realize, oh, this isn't the type of mine we were expecting. This is a vertical mine shaft. They may attempt it. They may get hurt. So, information like this can be dangerous at times. Anyway, he goes on to say, some conspiracy theorists believe that Kenny, the M Cave, was a secret entrance to the top secret military base Area 51, and he was killed or imprisoned to prevent him from revealing any secrets. However, for balance, the base is at least 20 miles away from the spots Kenny showcased in his various videos searching for the cave. It would seem unlikely that the M Cave would be connected to the Groom Lake site, but all options are covered in this article. Right, so I guess you could say it's a breath of fresh air that they're using reasoning ability by highlighting that the mine shaft or the cave and Kenny's findings could be linked with military and military intervention, as we've discussed here and Jeff Clark has. But it could be linked to maybe some aliens. It could be linked to Area 51, but at the same time, we'll be so much realistic and highlight that due to the distance of like Area 51, is it exactly possible, or is that a bit of a stretch? So, you know, they're kind of using a bit of common sense here. So maybe they've taken it on board, the discussions, what we've done on YouTube, which I guess is a positive, right? So the idea that Kenny may have seen something he wasn't supposed to, he knows too much. Yeah, you could be silenced in different ways. You could be taken in because you might be seen as too much of a threat. You may reveal too much to the general public. Considering that Kenny was already very talkative online and excited and passionate about what he originally found, maybe the military caught on and thought, we don't think that Kenny will keep quiet, so we need to do something about it. Dark or corrupt, who knows, you never know, right? Now, they're saying that Area 51, the base, is at least 20 miles away from where Kenny was hiking. When they say at least 20 miles, they're giving a rough estimate. They're saying 20 miles or more in distance. I think Jeff Clark said about 50 miles or so away from the hiking spot of Kenny. Probably the case, and in reference to Groom Lake too, okay? So with such great distance between the areas, it's unlikely that they would connect like a linear tunnel covering miles upon miles underground. Just doesn't quite seem possible. If it was shorter in distance, maybe. Now, you never know. There could be a possibility that the cave or the mine shaft, the Kenny Veach one, it could have tunnels. It could link to a military base, but maybe not directly linked with Area 51. It could be a smaller one, a lesser known one. It could be in relation to Nellis Air Force Base or Nellis Testing Range underground. You know, those possibilities there. But, you know, this article does finish it off in this paragraph saying, all options are covered in this article for balance. Well, if you're going to demonstrate balance, let's see what you've got to show. I'll be the judge of that. So, says, what happened to Kenny? Did he fall into the mine shaft? Did the military take him because he found something he wasn't supposed to have found? Did he commit suicide, as his ex-girlfriend suggests? Okay. What did he experience at the M Cave? Infrasound, military technology, or was he making it all up? So they're putting it all out there as for the different possibilities. Military equipment, access denial system, like those documents, what we saw, to make someone feel uneasy, scared or uncomfortable, to push them away, a deterrence maybe, right? The suicide bit, suggesting, not demanding or stating like that, okay? So that's kind of consistent there, not going all in on that idea, so that's good of this website to take into consideration. The bit about did Kenny fall into the mine shaft? Whilst yes, I understand that could be an idea because of the items found nearby and the scent ending at that spot. Yeah, I can understand, but people have gone into the mine shaft and didn't find anything to do with Kenny. So could have been a cave in or like a falling in debris. I don't think so, because where would it be coming from? If you want me to do a standalone video, maybe I can do that someday. What is and where is Area 51? So it looks like we're focusing in, well, we're kind of moving away from the Kenny Veach case, but let's just see the backstory here, because it's linked to the case. They give an introduction to the area of interest. Area 51 is the name of a highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada Test and Training Range. The installation has been the focus of numerous conspiracies involving extraterrestrial life, though its only confirmed use is as a flight testing facility. But you never know. There's always that possibility. People can joke about it. Those within can joke. But, you know, one thing that I've seen here and there, there's been a few people who've got relatives or connections with others that once worked at Area 51. That's kind of interesting. And some little pointers acknowledging that there could have been extraterrestrial life or testing going on. It says, it's located within the Nevada Test and Training Range near Groom Lake in southern Nevada, in the southern portion of Nevada, 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas. The surrounding area is a popular tourist destination, including the small town of Rachel on the extraterrestrial highway. I think within that area, don't you, you've got the, what's it called, Highway 51, or the, kind of like based on Aliens, that diner on one of the main roads. So the facility, built 1955, initially served as a Lockheed U-2 spy plane test facility. Over the years, other well-known aircraft have been tested here, including the Archangel 12, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. The CIA publicly acknowledged the base's existence in June 2013, following a Freedom of Information Act request filed in 2005. I mean, I'm sure people would have picked up on the base or something out there if, Google Earth, Street View, satellite imagery existed before 2013, right? It says the CIA reports the correct names for Area 51 are Groom Lake and Hummy Airport. Groom Lake is a salt flat used for runways for the Nellis bombing range test site. Whilst the origin of the name is unclear, it's believed that Area 51 was part of an Atomic Energy Commission numbering grid. However, Area 51 does not belong to this system. It has also been suggested that number 51 was used because of AEC would not need it for the grid system. Now, as we're going along through this information, I'm not an expert on Area 51, okay? I've heard a little bit here and there, right? And people trying to get near to Area 51. But if there's any information here which is incorrect, you're welcome to leave comments down below in this video, making the corrections if needed, okay? It says, controversially, many UFO hunters also believe that Area 51's underground facilities store alien artifacts, UFOs, and even dead aliens. Over the years, other theories include Area 51 being used for weather manipulation, developing energy weapons and advanced propulsion systems, and storing and reverse engineering alien spacecraft. The US military vehemently denies these controversial claims. You never know. I mean, people are always going to deny, right? Even if they know it's the truth, because if you say, yeah, that's the truth, it kind of just reveals it all and kind of exposes it. And if it needs to be kept a secret so other countries don't hear about it, then that's what you do. You keep it hush, hush. Now, of course, yes, aliens and possible activity over in that direction. I can't remember the person's name, but the tall whites or the tall greys, when we looked at that article in the past, talking about within Nevada, the mountains nearby, closer to Area 51, how it could be entrance and exit ways through the mountains of UFOs, spaceships going through and stuff. Kind of interesting. If you want to look back at that, I think I covered it on my channel. But the bit that stood out to me here, besides weather manipulation, was developing energy weapons. Now, the last time I heard developing energy weapons was when we were looking at that official document a couple of weeks ago now, right? When they said the usage of weapons like that, such as by military, to scare people, to deter people away from places. Well, you got a desert area and it's near to military land, and the military also want to take over this land where Kenny Veach was hiking it. You add one with one together and think, maybe because the military see the value in that public land and they want it for themselves, or that they already know that there is some of their own equipment and items on that land and they need to take control of it so then they can maintain it better and add more features. You never know. And with Kenny Veach being in the area at that place and time, Kenny did come across something, whether it be the M cave itself directly, within or nearby, some kind of equipment, some kind of jammer, some kind of access denial system which caused the vibrations. Now, Jeff Clark also felt vibrations. Jeff Clark, I will do a map analysis at some point. I'll make sure to do that, of the location, what you experienced. Let's hold off for now whilst we get on with this stuff first, but we'll get round to it and then put it into perspective and then also link it to the lost time. I'll eventually get there. But just focusing on this article for now, it goes on, titled Area 51 Camo Dudes. So this is, I believe, the name of it, which was used on Mac Adventures. Now, this is very interesting because Mac Adventures, father and son, going around the US through different states on their motorbikes, exploring, vlogging, recording, and creating a channel in the process. growing with time, but they exploded in growth when they started focusing on Area 51. And because it was successful, they kept doing it, exploring the back ways, the back roads leading up to Area 51, the gates, even stepping over the line and recording themselves doing it. And then when it came to that one time when they did it from a different angle, different route, going down the gravelled road, they got to the gate with the signs up, they actually went over it, crossed over, and then shortly afterwards, military came along, held them at gunpoint and told them off. I don't know if it'll mention the other details. If it doesn't, I'll add that in later. But as it's mentioned here, it says anyone trying to enter the area illegally will be rapidly ejected or arrested. The perimeter is patrolled by the notorious so-called camo dudes to discourage entry by unauthorized persons. A video posted on YouTube in 2016 by Mac Adventures claimed to be the only video with footage of the camo dudes holding civilians at gunpoint. Some of you should remember this. Let me know in the chat if you've seen this before. Mac Adventures, father and son. I believe when they were on their bikes, they actually drove past the camo dudes in like a pickup truck. And then eventually that pickup truck turned around and started following them. And already the camo dudes already saw what the guys had done. And that's why they held them at gunpoint and told them off. So it actually fails to mention what actually happened to Mac Adventures after the camo dudes experience. So I'm just going to add that in right now. So after that happened, Mac Adventures went quiet for months upon months, maybe years. And then fast forward onwards, a video is then uploaded. Part 1, I believe, part 2. I don't know if it was a live stream, it may have just been a standard video. And it was of the son. The father, I guess, was ill at the time. So the son was in his vehicle, basically explained what had happened, but very briefly. Not really going into detail as for how much trouble they got into, okay? Going on about saying how they've stopped doing the adventures and exploring due to health issues with the father, and I believe being busy with work, doing other stuff besides YouTube, so to slow down on that. That Mac Adventures did sell their equipment, or some of it was taken from them, but they sold their motorbikes and have kind of packed it in, called it a day. And that the son also mentioned in response to, I think, a question about Area 51 and what happened there, all the son replied with was, oh no, you don't want to go there, there's nothing to see, it's not worth it, there's not much happening, it's a waste of time, kind of like blowing it off. And it's like, wait, you were really passionate in the past, you were excited, you were interested, and you thought there was mystery, and you wanted to see, you know, how you could push the boundaries, and yet now you're dejected, you're playing it down, you're making it seem like there's nothing going on there. So there's been a change, a shift in behaviour and attitude, and that might be because of what they got involved with and how they were dealt with afterwards when they got in trouble. Now, it was Ewu crew, Emma and the guy, the father of Emma, that reached out to Mac Adventures on Facebook, I believe. And as for the responses, it was very limited and drawn out and awkward to communicate with the son of Mac Adventures. But they finally got some kind of confirmation from another commenter that reached out to Mac Adventures, I believe. And it was simply to do with they were detained, okay? So kind of like arrested, but held somewhere, right? Imprisoned somewhere, yes. 4 to 6 months. It may have changed those two people, father and son. After being detained for many months, it may have changed them. They may have even been forced to keep quiet. They may have even been threatened to stay silent and to basically, if ever question in the future, to say, oh, nothing to see here, nothing happened, and play it off cool. So you can see how people can change when they get too close to possibly uncovering something or getting too close to restricted land. So in Kenny Veach's case, if Kenny found something, military caught on, same could have happened to Kenny, if not worse, right? It'd be interesting, like, if Kenny did return back at a later point? What would his behaviour be like? That would be something worth monitoring. Now, returning back to Kenny directly, who was Kenny Veach? Kenny, aged 47 years old, was an experienced solo hiker and spent much of his free time exploring the Mojave and Great Basin deserts in Nevada and California. He went alone on most of these trips, camping out for several days, with minimum supplies and without GPS, compass, or even maps. On some occasions, he was accompanied by his girlfriend. That's true. Many fellow hikers in the US deserts would call his trips reckless without the necessary preparation and equipment, maybe. And in response to hikers in general, earlier on in this article, I noticed it referenced how many searches were done when looking for Kenny. I didn't think many searches took place looking for Kenny, right? Most of the searches for Kenny took place years later when volunteers stepped on in. You call it general public or not. People on YouTube, people that we see, people that comment here and interact, fellow hikers that have been out there themselves, locals or not. They've hiked, they've tried searching for Kenny and/or M Cave and clues in general. They've done most of the work and they've put in a lot of time too. And calling them amateur hikers seems a bit disrespectful because these people that have gone out there, multiple times as well, they've done a good job. I wouldn't say they're amateur, no. If it was an amateur hiker, as it's worded in this article, going out there, an amateur hiker with no experience to that land wouldn't find it easy. They might even have difficulties in returning back home safely, because, more experienced hikers have said it's no easy going out there. Even Kenny Veach said so. He saw how exhausted he was. So if you had an amateur going out there, they may not even return back. So it's kind of false information there mentioned by this article earlier on. Just wanted to mention it right now. So as it's mentioned here though with Kenny going on most of his hikes alone and some with the girlfriend, that's true, that checks out correctly. In the past, the girlfriend made it seem like she was with Kenny all the time on hikes, exaggerated. Though the one bit's not mentioned here is that Kenny did go on the odd hike with his nephew Hunter Veach. That's not mentioned here. Okay. Moving on. It says Kenny was not unfamiliar with the desert hiking and claimed to have hiked extensively in the Mojave area. Although Kenny was not a big uploader to YouTube, he often posted comments on forums using the tag Snakebitmgee. He called himself this as he had a dangerous habit of picking up snakes and he once was bitten by a rattlesnake. I think I remember that story being told somewhere. Now, once again, on YouTube, that is not a forum, right? It's more of a, what do you call it, like a website, an online social media platform in a way, okay? I wouldn't say Kenny posted often in comments. Well, I don't think he did. I know Atari came across some comments at some point, but they were elsewhere on a different website, and I don't know how that went because someone was debunking it as it wasn't Kenny, and then it was, then it wasn't. I don't know what the conclusion was there, I can't remember. But specifically speaking on YouTube, Kenny didn't leave that many comments on YouTube, and other ones he did leave weren't anything to do with the case of the MK. I think one of them was commenting on music, maybe one of them commenting or just having a playlist on how to not go crazy during your awakening with Bernardo Alvarez or so, that guy. That's a rabbit hole itself for some. And then there was another comment by Kenny, I guess to do with music, but money, making money or something. So there was a range of comments, but not a lot as you would think, okay? And yes, it says Kenny was not a big uploader. Maybe not, though there are other videos that were once on his channel which are no longer there. So they were taken down. As to why, that's unknown, strange. It goes on here, mentioning an example, once posted, in quotes by Kenny, I solo hike across mountain tops that most people wouldn't dare go. I've been in more caves than I can count. I play with rattlesnakes for fun, but this one particular cave was beyond anything I've ever encountered. Right. In another comment, he added, I've been doing this sort of thing for over 20 years. I go where no one goes. Right. We've seen this before, right? I find schools, shapes, sizes, sometimes find animal traps, hike over mountaintops, sleep on peaks, kind of like what he mentioned in his M Cave hike video on YouTube, pointing as if that was Gas Peak when it's not, that's further back, pointing towards Sheep Peak, saying he's camped up that way, which, correction, apologies to J Chuck, slight mistake made there. J Chuck did go up there and check those areas where Kenny camped, nothing found. Apologies about that. Yeah, I mean, this, we've seen it before, right? It's just a common quote, and also mentioning how Kenny, in the past, injured his left leg up a mountain, needed to be rescued by a helicopter, blown his left leg out, vulnerable state. Kenny's already been vulnerable out there. It could have happened again, and this time more fatal, right? Just based on that information there, if you didn't include the counter proof to say Kenny's alive. So yeah, limited resources, not a good outcome. It says the discovery of the M Cave in the southern Mojave Desert. In June 2014, Kenny messaged on a video called son of an Area 51 technician, stating that ain't nothing, long distance hiker. Yeah, we've seen this one again, always enter caves, and when I entered this one, body began to vibrate. Closer to the entrance, it got worse, got scared, left. And that's this is the original comment, if you're interested. Can I save the comment? I don't know if it'll save to photos. I just thought I'd save it to photos just in case there's a reference point that is needed in the future. Maybe a screenshot will be needed. I'll do that afterwards in case I need to change the vertical video. Right, M-shaped cave Kenny referred to in the YouTube comments was in Sheep Range, north of Las Vegas. Ranges are located north of Las Vegas, Nevada, in both Clark and Lincoln counties in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. The mountain peaks at Hayford Peak, 9,912 feet above sea level between the Las Vegas Range to the east and desert to the west. Right, I think Kenny mentioned about 9,000 feet up above sea level, so that's what he was mentioning there in his video. It says the desert wilderness that Kenny was hiking around was full of old mine shafts that the military had used to dispose of chemicals, and was a very isolated and demanding trip to get there. It took him around 10 hours of hiking to reach the area of the M Cave and return to his car. It was a place well known for having drug addicts and dealers who had taken up residence in the area, and even being a dumping ground for murder victims' bodies. Right, something tells me I might have heard this before, and I was thinking, what the F? What the hell's going on here? Where did they come to this conclusion, and where's the proof of it? I think we just need to read over this a few times just to try and understand, and be sure to let me know your thoughts, whether you agree or not. So, yes, within Nevada, there are many, many mine shafts and abandoned ones. Filled in or not, there's many out there in general. As for Nevada, I understand that. Specifically where Kenny was hiking, how many mine shafts are they? Don't know exactly. Some people may know the numbers. Maybe not like dozens upon dozens upon dozens, but a fair range, spread out. Okay, the one what we've seen, obviously. The one maybe the ones that SB Vegas Adventure have come across himself when hiking about roughly in the area and expanding onwards. But how it's mentioned here, where Kenny was hiking was full of old mine shafts that military had used to dispose of chemicals. What? I've never heard that before. Has anyone else heard of this information? That old mine shafts have been used to dispose of chemicals? And now there was theories and ideas mentioning that maybe if there's any caves or filled in caves with time, there was once toxic waste dumped into those places by military, then sealed up to dispose, but also to prevent people from getting hurt from the chemicals or radiation, right? So for mine shafts, why would they be dumping it in mine shafts, like vertical ones? I guess it's easy to get rid of, but do they fill those mine shafts in? Because at least from the ones I've seen, from Scott Natal's videos to SB Vegas Adventures to Jeff Clark, etc., those mine shafts have not been filled in exactly. You can get into them in some way or another, or get so far into them. If there was truly chemicals in those mine shafts, then surely those hikers would have had side effects by now and may have been harmed. So is this truth in this? Or are they saying that mine shafts further away from where Kenny was hiking? Maybe mine shafts on restricted military land have been used as disposing grounds. If we're talking about the mineshaft that Kenny Veach was stood near in his own hike video, that one, down Little Jomay Canyon, well, I don't think chemicals were disposed of in there because there's no traces of it. There's no reports of anyone getting ill or sick. The only occurrence was when Sean Horlecker said he felt ill after being getting close to a supposed covered up M cave, which was almost on the way down to views going through Pitcher Canyon just before that. But that's away from the mine shaft. So unless that area, a cave, once a cave, was used as a dumping ground, maybe. Let me know your thoughts on it, whether you agree or not in general. It says it took him around 10 hours of hiking to find the M cave to reach it. No, that's incorrect. The total hike took around 10 hours to do. The loop hike up Jomay Canyon, over Wild Horse Pass, down Pitcher Canyon, turning back and coming in a circular motion, a loop, basically. Okay? 10 hours in total. Not 10 hours to find the cave. That's not how it was worded, right? But then again, I guess it says to reach M cave and then return to the car. It would have been easier just to say 10 hours of hiking to do the whole hike. That would have been easier, the loop. Anyway, it's weird how it says the place. What place? Are we saying the Nevada desert, the Mojave desert, or Jomay Canyon or Sheep Range? I don't know if they're talking about that or speaking vaguely, but they're saying that the place is well known for having drug addicts and dealers taking up residence in the area, and even a dumping ground for murder victim bodies. Never heard that before. Has anyone else? Well, I don't think I've heard it before elsewhere. I may have seen it on this article before in the past, but I don't know, it's weird. I know there's been those theories and ideas by people, the cartel, something going on out there. Kenny saw something he wasn't supposed to, and then he was taken out, kidnapped and stuff, silenced in that way, besides military. Maybe. I don't remember seeing any news articles or reports of bodies found out there, murder ones. Just let me know if you have seen different stories. As for drug addicts, dealers, no, never really heard about that. If you talk about homeless people, that may be addicts, well, that tends to be in the desert area, but the outer skirts of Las Vegas, not up Sheep Range, Sheep Peak, or Jomay Canyon. That's too far away. That's too desolate. And out of all the hikers that have been out there in the area where Kenny hiked, if that's the area what this article is referring to for having drug dealers, murder bodies and all that, no, I think that's invalid because no hikers who've gone out there have reported seeing or finding anything mentioned like that there. Scott Natal, though, did say he saw some homeless people and maybe they were a bit hostile or a bit dodgy, but that was the outer skirts of Las Vegas, closer to Las Vegas than Sheep Range, okay? So weird paragraph there. It goes on to say, many fellow YouTube posters were skeptical of the comments of Kenny, saying he was BS and the experience and the M Cave discovery. Others dared him to go back out there to get more footage. He responded with a follow-up hike to do the same area in Sheep Mountains. One poster warned Kenny not to return and that you won't get out. Let me kill, mister. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? They're actually blanking out the comments. Why? Can anyone explain that to me? For privacy? It's a public comment. When there's a public comment, you shouldn't have to censor the person's username. That's stupid, right? It looks like, though, that this screenshot was taken maybe in German by a person from Germany and used the screenshot that way. Because to get traces of it nowadays as proof, you can't, because I said the comments are deleted, which is a shame, but at least we've still got the archives here. That's something that's not been erased yet. But yeah, this user, public comment, they shouldn't be censored, they shouldn't be protected, and it doesn't really matter anymore now because that user has been deleted ever since their channel, so you're not going to find them. There's fake accounts in recent times, so you just ignore that. It says, despite the warning, Kenny returned to the desert, but this time with a Rutger 9mm gun. He posted a YouTube video of his hike trying to find the M Cave on October 18th, 2014, called M Cave Hike. Yeah. this hike video, not the one he went missing on. This was before, right? Before that. Before his final hike. And there was unreleased footage which was paired with that hike on that date, but Sharon Pilgrim posted that years later, which Kenny didn't want to include in his original hike video for numerous reasons, okay? Now, October 18th, 2014 is when the M Cave hike video was posted to Kenny's channel, but it's not to say that's the date Kenny went on his hike. He could have gone on his hike weeks before and then uploaded it later, because it can take time, right? You got to recover from the hike, and then you got to deal with the files, the file sizes, and sort all that out. It goes on to say, Kenny parks his vehicle, Joe May Canyon, Joe May Road, probably headed to areas like Corkscrew Canyon and the valley around Gas Peak. Wait, what's this on about? This person's assuming that Kenny headed to Corkscrew Canyon and the valley around Gas Peak. Gas Peak isn't in the area of Joe May Canyon. It's further back the other way. So they got that wrong. Does anyone find this a little bit weird? I've never seen it worded like this before. Oh yeah, Kenny went down to Joe May Canyon and probably went to Gas Peak and Corkscrew Canyon on the same day. I don't think he would have done. I can't remember what Corkscrew Canyon is. I don't know if I've picked up on that before. Does anyone know where Corkscrew Canyon is? I can do it on the maps some other day, just not right now. But, you know, Kenny doing his M Cave hike, 10 hours it takes, right? You're limited in time. I don't think Kenny ever got back during nighttime or in the dark like other hikers have. So maybe Kenny went earlier in the day or spent less time out there. But, you know, if you're going out there to do the M Cave hike loop, you're not going to waste any time going anywhere else. You're just focusing on that one hike. Because if you go elsewhere in between throughout the day, you're just not going to have enough hours in the day to do it all. So I think that's wrong assumptions there from the article. It says, however, this time he was unsuccessful in locating the cave, as we know. This resulted in even more negative comments on YouTube saying he was a liar and calling him out, which then obviously encouraged Kenny to go back out a final time. So it says, Kenny told YouTubers he was going on a third trip to the area to find the mythical M Cave. It's never been called the mythical M Cave, mysterious M Cave maybe. He invited others to join him, but no one offered to accompany him. On November 10th, 2014, Kenny told his girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim that he was leaving to find a cave on a solo hike. Kenny was never seen again. Now, my question to everyone right now, when Kenny offered the hand out for others to join him on his hike, what would have happened if people took on the offer? If they went with Kenny on that final hike? Would they have witnessed Kenny killing himself? Would they have witnessed Kenny faking his own disappearance? Would, if Kenny committed suicide, based on that, if other people went with him on the hike, would it have prevented him from committing suicide on that day of the 10th of November? I wonder. Some deep thoughts there, possibilities. With regards to the search for Kenny, a substantial search was launched after Kenny's girlfriend Sharon reported him missing about 7-8 days too late, even though she claims she did it very quickly, which is a lie. Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander Dave Cummings told News 3 in Las Vegas, "We found his cell phone close to the vertical old mine shaft. We can't find another trail. It doesn't mean he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We're having other crews come in from search areas. The cell phone was located November 22nd, 2014. What happened to Kenny? It was strange that Kenny decided to do another day hike without overnight camping equipment. As he said, his previous trips had been long 10-hour hikes over difficult ground, but Kenny had been known to be reckless in the desert before. It would have left him little time to search the M Cave if he found it again. He also left his video cameras behind, which he used for his previous M Cave video, but he did take his camera. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I've always been referring to, the way it was mentioned here at least. That supposedly Kenny didn't take his video camera, what he normally uses for his hikes, but he did take a camera just for taking photos. You know, let me just see this comment by Sharon, if it's mentioned there or not. I'm the girlfriend, wondering what happened and guessing different things. Heartfelt sadness. We're not too many months. If I want to share now, I feel what happened. It might bring some closure. Okay, favourite thing to do. Hiking out there. Ghost towns, mine shafts, sun protected clothes. Right, so it's not mentioned anything there. But it's interesting how this article mentions that Kenny did take a camera on his final hike. It just wasn't a video camcorder. A camera just for taking photos. And I believe it was Sharon Pilgrim that got it all mixed up. Sharon Pilgrim at one point in a comment said, no, Kenny did not take his camera. But then in another comment thread or response, she said, well, not the video one, but Kenny did take a camera just for taking photos. So what is the true story there? It's weird. It says, someone claiming to be Kenny's girlfriend posted the following comment on his M Cave hike, Sharon Pilgrim. I'm the girlfriend, yep. So we've seen all this, in case you're wondering. Okay, it's the same thing. It's just quoting of her experience with Kenny and what they got up to in the past, exploring, believing committing suicide. Not that it did happen, but just a belief, an idea. The type of search is done. Mineshaft, 4-hour hike from his car. That's probably true. GPS tracking. Oh, okay, let's just see this. It's my feeling he left his behind so that he could not be tracked from GPS in it. So maybe they tracked the GPS up to the mineshaft, but then by that point there was no other way of tracking because the phone was already found by then. It says he did not take his video camera with him on his solo hike. It was left at his home. Right, but then surely there was a comment elsewhere saying that he took just a normal camera instead. That's why it's a bit weird. Shed is for 2 reasons. So there's closure and understanding, right? Can't be a one-day hike. Please be careful and take care. Right, so that's basically what we've seen. Same old. The theories on Kenny's disappearance. Suicide. Kenny's apparent negative state of mind may have given him the thought to end his life, and the MK story was a perfect excuse, but if this was his intent, whereas Kenny's remains, nothing has ever been found despite all the official and voluntary searches. Perhaps he jumped into one of the many mine shafts in the Sheep Mountains and will never be found. But there's been several hikers that have tried looking for mine shafts and they've just not found any clues of Kenny within them. There's not been any reports or mentions of holes out there, but it depends if hikers were directly looking for them, okay? But I guess it balances it out saying, okay, Kenny may have committed suicide, negative state of mind, but there is no remains of Kenny. There is no proof yet to say suicide was the cause. So there we go. International disappearance. Did Kenny internationally disappear to start a new life, escape troubles from home? He appeared to have some financial issues. People say, yes, he did have financial issues. Others say he wasn't in that much trouble. He wasn't wanted by police to that extent. And some say he was. So it kind of varies there. But, you can disappear. You can start a new life for many reasons. Fresh start or escaping from something. You don't always have to start a new life from escaping something. You can just start a new life because you want to. Fresh air, cleanse yourself, numerous reasons. And take in mind that the family didn't seem too concerned about his disappearance. They didn't exactly go out there themselves, so maybe they know where Kenny is at. Bullet point. Misadventure. Did he fall in a mine shaft by accident? Did Kenny succumb to heat and die from hypothermia or dehydration? Did a snake bite him? Only his phone was found. There was no sign of a body despite an extensive search. Was Kenny's girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim somehow involved? Seems unlikely. But it's interesting how this article mentions that Sharon Pilgrim could be responsible for Kenny going missing. Interesting. Or military action. Had Kenny discovered a hidden secret entrance to Area 51 with strange effects on his body caused by classified military tech? Some theorise that covert black ops in the military took Kenny out as he had discovered something he shouldn't have. Well, that's another possibility too. Some were saying that the reason why Kenny's scent ended at the mineshaft was because that's when he was apprehended, kidnapped, military intervention took place. Some were even saying that the reason why the scent didn't go any further is because he was airlifted up by a helicopter or something. And Kenny may have dropped his phone and coins because he was either forced to or he wanted to leave it as a clue. Different ideas, right? Anything else? Not from the looks of it. Now, I don't know if it'll let me do it, but do you know when I said about hiding the reader mode just so you could see the other stuff? Hide a toolbar. I don't know if it will show up or not. So you got the photos of Kenny. Maybe some of the photos didn't show up at the time. As I said, only so much seems to show up on the screen at a time. But I think there may have been some kind of map. There we go. I don't want to click on it because it might kick me off. But you got Picture Canyon, Jomay Canyon, Corkscrew Canyon. Okay, so Corkscrew Canyon is before Jomay Canyon and Jomay Road. Bit closer to Corn Creek. You got Gas Peak over in that direction down at the bottom. Okay? So, we can do a map analysis in the future if needed, but really this is how it's labelled and presented. So when Kenny was pointing at Gas Peak, he was pointing at Sheep Peak, that area. And as we know, Gas Peak is further down there. If you need coordinates, well, we can do that in a separate video, but it was just interesting to see this being added here as like a little feature. Zoom out a little bit. There you go. So that's what it looks like there. So what we've transitioned on to now is the comment section of the last Kenny Veach video that I did. I just want to respond back to some comments, answer any questions and see if there's any new information. Go from the newest, we start from the bottom. So we've got an account here saying fake news. This person has no idea what they're talking about, of course, default profile. Jeff Clark responds saying, why did you tell me he is a fraud? So this person, Helen James, fake account, also called Warlight Ref a fraud in the live premiere at the time. Jeff Clark's wondering why, saying how Ref has been posting MK videos for years and has covered all kinds of stuff. So Jeff Clark, this account, what you see on screen, and we'll click on it briefly. So is this guy the Pope? This guy hats off whipping himself. Right, this person could be considered a troll account. So Jeff Clark, this is a waste of space human, but it's a person that hides behind a default profile. And there's high chances that this person is in linkage with numerous fake accounts. Look, it says joined 3 weeks ago. New accounts tend to be fake accounts often, especially when it links with resistance, okay? This probably originates from the Dylan Rounds community, the true crime community, the YouTube streets. Somebody that has an obsession with me or shows a form of jealousy towards my channel, okay? It could be Salty Pancakes. It could be a member from Salty Pancakes. It could be some people highlighting a person called Just Mike. So it's out of my control, but let's just at least acknowledge it and call it out on the spot when it shows up. This person does not come across as the type of person from the Kenny Veach case. Okay, Jeff Clark? So we might get some outsiders coming on in from time to time. Now, Jeff Clark says, I want to see your psycho degree if you are going to persist with these psycho expert claims. Now, I respond back saying psycho is short for psychotic. Jeff Clark says, so you have a written and officially signed degree in that? So I think Jeff Clark is a little bit confused because at no point did I call anyone a psychopath in that sense, okay? In relation to these specific cases, what we've been doing, in relation to my specific analysis of the community, the different situations, the way people behave, I've not been going about saying, oh, psychopath here, psychopath there. I have done psychological analysis or backed it up with psychological perspectives to put things into mind for clarity. From the keyhole cave, the supposed reptilian eye, you know, the depth of field, the perception, how it can alter it, depending on what you see at first sight, impressions and stuff. I've explained it in the past, but I've not gone on about psycho or psychopath, okay? It's Jay Chuck that has gone on about psycho. It was Jay Chuck that said he's supposedly been clinically diagnosed as a psychopath, whatever that's all about, okay? So, Jeff Clark, I think you got confused here, okay? Now, the whole concept of having to prove myself through written papers or documents because I'm claiming to be an expert, I've never claimed to be an expert. I've claimed to have experience, okay? How come all the times in the past when Warlight Ref has been labelled as the M-Cave expert, the Kenny Veach guy, the expert that knows it all? I never called myself that. Other people did. And you, Jeff Clark, seem to roll with it as well. But at no point did you ask for written documents or proof there in that sense, right? So, yeah, a little bit weird, but never mind. Jeff Clark says, we speak American English here and don't agree with the Catholic self-abuse sessions. Catholic or Catholic? Probably read that a bit wrong there. Catholic. Right, so I guess Jeff Clark is being a bit sarcastic here, but it's not abuse. It's controlled, right? It's completely different. Now, remember, Jeff Clark, the origins of the whipping was taking someone's words and putting them into action in a joking way. It was Jay Silverheels that was the creator, and my response to it. When Jay Silverheels said, Warlike Ref, you got the information wrong, you ought to whip yourself. He didn't literally mean it, but I thought as a joke, I will do it. And that's what I did. And ever since it has been used in other ways. My whip, my big black whip, excites people. My big black whip turns some people on. It scares other people away. And sometimes when you're dealing with toxic people, you want them to go away. How do you get rid of them? You act a little bit more abstract, okay? You may make them feel uncomfortable. It scares them off. Success. For those along the way that find it funny, well, they get a laugh out of it. They feel positive. They feel good. Well, that's good. And for others out there that might get a bit excited or something, well, they still feel something positive as well. All around, it's a win-win situation and it is under control. We got Glenn. Shout out to Glenn. Once again, this person saying, am I the Pope? Well, I don't do handshakes under the cloth, so should be safe there. Anything else? Helen. This guy haps up, whipping himself to lonely grandmas in his chat. How desperate. So this is the same person under a different username and account that in the past called Brody, called Sarah, called Jamie something. Same person, different account, different username. From the Dylan Rounds case community, either Just Mike or Salty Pancakes, because they used the same line in the past saying whipping and grandmas or grannies, all old people, ew, right? It's the same person, okay, from over that way. This person isn't from the Kenny Veach case. I could already tell by their language, their words, their keywords. I've heard it all before. It's the same person. There we go, case closed. Cleo, you're welcome, and I'm glad you liked the video last night. Oh my, we've got a long comment here. Let's get through this quick because I'm aware we're getting a bit strapped for time. But we got Rumpel saying, thank you for this meta level video. You're welcome. I'm glad you like it. Your way of reflecting on your audience, on yourself, on this part of the YouTube realm or streets, all this plays together, interacts, is absolutely unique. Being fairly new to the channel, welcome to the channel, Rumpel. You say, these kind of videos help me get a familiar understanding with those aspects of your presentations. I might not have understood right away, fair enough. The term abstract art somehow was very eye-opening for me, though I did realise before that you like parody. There were certain elements I didn't immediately catch. As you said yourself, what applies to some viewers can be true for some creators too, like peculiar changes of behaviour, impatience with their subs, overreacting to misunderstandings. I appreciate the way you address the issues you notice, and I think you're very respectful towards your viewers. I'm glad I found your channel and decided to subscribe a few weeks ago. Sorry if my English is a bit incomprehensive, and sorry for the typos. My inner translator is old and sluggish. Sending good vibes from Jamini. Oh, so late already. Happy birthday. Hopefully you get the biggest moist cake with the tastiest filling. Well, appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. It's good of you to come on in. Good timing as well. And as a heads up, as for your English language and wording, I understood every single word. It looks like you got it under control, and you're clear in when you talk. So that's all good there. There's been times in the past where I've come across people where they speak English, it's their first and only language, and sometimes it's hard to understand them. just like a light-hearted comparison there. But as an update regarding the birthday cake, and if other people are interested, the birthday cake that I did have, it was moist, it was wet, and it was deep filled. So that was good. Okay? Let's acknowledge. Move on. Beatrice, you got this. Never a dull moment. That's good to know. Light bulb, guys. Saying it was in the middle of Vegas. We all know good and well multiple businesses caught that break-in outside camera. What a cover-up. Definitely something brewing. Yeah, it's a fair point by Lightbulb. This is in response to the 2018 break-in of the Veach family-run healing store, Enchanted Forest. Whether it be Kenny or not, there were multiple cameras which weren't used in the investigation, which is a bit weird, and there are businesses within the area parallel or adjacent to the place which had cameras as well, but none of it was used. It's like they're kind of covering it up. So I agree with that. That's a fair point. Oh, okay. So we've got this person once again complaining. They say there's no way that dude speaks to any woman without giving his parents' credit card information. Don't let that adult child fool you. He couldn't tie his own tie or change a flat tire without looking it up. Skillless. Whiny individual. I don't know how any of you made it past the 2-minute mark. Bravo to you peeps. Look what the internet does to small brains. Over and out. 2 people liked the comment, so that's interesting. There must be 2 other people out there that are problematic. But this person that has a lot to say, and wondering how other people managed to watch the full video or so. Well, user, the amount of times you've spent complaining and also analysing me and supposed, what do you call it, shortcomings. You seem to know a lot, don't you? So that would mean you've spent a fair bit of time observing me, or falsely observing me. So I think you've spent a lot of time yourself. You seem quite invested in this channel. You seem quite invested in me, despite everything. So maybe you may have a problem. Possibly. Now, the bit about Warlike Wrath speaking to women through the usage of a credit card. I mean, unrelated, just as an observation, but kind of meant in a light-hearted way, not in a rude way. When it's come to people showing support on this channel, it's been people gifting support over to me. Not exactly the other way around. What I give back is content and at times entertainment and other times edutainment. Entertainment, education, okay? So it kind of makes users' point invalid. Yeah, very, very odd person this individual is, but they keep on coming back. So user 87, okay, you are a statistic, you are a number, and you are contributing to the growth of Warlike Wrath. You're doing yourself no favours, but you are helping me. Keep complaining, keep coming back on your hands and knees, okay? You're going to be a good boy? Yeah? Okay. And this person, Attaway Girl, says, okay, crying, laughing emoji. Never seen this person before, joined 3 months ago. I guess they didn't understand the video and kind of playing it off, laughing it off. Well, maybe with time, you stick around long enough or you get too close to the fire with other people, you'll realise it can be a serious situation at times. But aside from that, it looks like we've acknowledged all of these comments. All in all, in relation to that website article that we read out, part of me makes me think I've read it before in the past, but at the same time, it seemed like there was additional information added to that website. Maybe I've never seen it before. I just remembered the name of that website, Outdoor something. Maybe there was another article in the past about Kenny. Maybe someone passed it on to me as a screenshot. But nevertheless, there was new information there added on from previous stuff. So a few more updates, but no direct references, no direct, context, research given or credit given to me or to other people. So it still falls short there, but just in general, I wanted to present to you this website, this article on the case, so you can understand it yourself and learn about it on the spot if need be. And I can also make corrections because new people come along all the time. They want to know the story, what happened, what was the early stages. Well, by reading these articles, it will teach you what happened, but I can guide you at the same time, not as an expert, but just an individual that's been around with time and gained the experience to understand certain truths within the case or what it's presumed to be and how there are mistakes made by these media outlets, these news articles, where they may get something wrong, they may exaggerate or get the wrong name, or just mistakes made. Serious or not, I can correct it as I tell you the story along the way. So it's kind of a win-win, and it keeps the case active, keeps it in the air. There are still more hands-on important videos at hand that need to be done and addressed. I'll get to that. There might be some new ideas generated along the way, like this video. I'll have to definitely tune into this live premiere at the time to remember what the video ideas were, or what I was going to do, and get the notepad out. But I think for now, and that's time to leave it for now. Hopefully you found the video interesting, and be sure to let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you want to like and share the video, that will be appreciated. Keep the awareness out there on Kenny Veach's name, spread the awareness so more people learn about it, and then we just go from there. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye. Good night for now.